Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy JP, and in today's video I want to talk about how to get objectionless paid in fulls. And when I say that, I mean when you drop a price, whether that's 2,000, 3, 4, 5,000, whatever it is, and they don't hesitate and they just buy. No more questions asked and they're good to go. How to get that. And the reason I want to talk about that is that because that's the holy grail for me of sales. Because you know that you've just created so much certainty and conviction in the buyer's mind that they just want to go. They're so excited to go. You've built such a gap between their current state of pain and frustration and their future state of joy and happiness. You've created that gap. You've eliminated any uncertainty that they're just ready to go and give you their money. For me, that's where you've done a good job. It's not when you have to arm wrestle them for an hour or 15, 20 minutes of objection handling. I mean, some people might rate that, but for me, that means if they're that uncertain, you've probably messed up in the call. You haven't uncovered an objection, you've maybe something you said or something you haven't said that's led to that point. So, and that's the thing, sales it's like a chess game. Over 45 minutes, an hour of different decisions you're making in the call, the questions you're asking, how you're asking them, how you're responding to their answers. Are you digging in here? Are you not digging in there? How deep is the conversation? Because remember, there are two sides of a conversation, especially with sales. So one's logical and one's emotional. So logical is, I want to lose 50 pounds. That is very logical. And it could even be a point of, I need to lose 50 pounds because if I don't, I'm going to fail my physical and I won't be able to serve in the army, or I'm going to get a warning. That's very logical. Whereas if we got emotional in that same example, okay, if I lose 50 pounds, now I won't be able to serve, or I'll get charged, I might get a disciplinary, then it might affect my chances of getting a promotion, or I might lose my job, which is still logical. But if we go further deeper, we can explore how that would make them feel. Maybe they'll feel disappointed, devastated, depressed, no food on food for the table for the kids, letting everyone down, embarrassed. And that's the thing, you have to really master the English language of sales. You have to really master it, because it's all words, and words are powerful. Like, even if you think about words, when you say your wedding vows, these are your vows to God and the world. It's words. If you want to curse someone, you'll curse them with words. If you want to put a spell on someone, you do it with words. If you were to sell your soul to the devil, you would do it with words. If you were to be baptized, the preacher baptizes you with words. They say words. I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. It's words. And it's the things that really separate us from the animals. It's communication, it's words. So you have to really understand words. So what is an emotional word and what is a logical word? Well, you know, anything to do with emotion is an emotional word. So when we're looking for pain, we want words like depressed, frustrated, fed up, annoyed, sick and tired. Could go endless. Sad, emotional. So these are the words you want, and when you're getting into these words, that's where you want to stay in that. And trust me, it's not easy necessarily to take someone to a painful point, but it's needed to get someone to trigger change. Change is typically always going to happen from a point of moving away from pain. Like, even if you're watching this, chances are you're a gym person. I'm sure you were motivated by some sort of pain, even if it was for health, even if it wasn't for vanity reasons. For me, vanity reasons. Not getting the attention I wanted from the people I wanted, needed to stand out, search for significance, led me to the gym. And not that I knew I wanted to be noticed, it was more like the pain of not getting what I wanted, not getting. And that's my personal reasons, but it could be anything. It could be the pain of illness. You wanted to get in shape because you were ill. I mean, a lot of people, they want to get in shape because they've been ill or struggling with their health, and they want to get in shape and they never want to be in a health situation ever again. Some people being bullied in school made them want to make a change with their health and be in the best shape ever so they never get bullied again. But that's what we need to focus on as salespeople. We need to really create that pain and have these tough conversations. And the thing is, you can't be attached to the sale, because if you're attached to the sale, you're going to do whatever you can for them to say yes, which means that you might skip over the hard conversations. And I've been guilty of this. I'm not perfect. Whereas you need to be one that says, I don't care about your money, but I care about you making the change. So let's have a real conversation here. You're not there to be buddy-buddy. You're not there to be their friend. If you find yourself doing rapport, trying to build rapport and be their friend, then chances are you're not going to make the sale. If you let the person ramble on about their life and where they're at and act like they know everything and they've got all the answers, you let them do that and don't dominate the conversation, then again, they're not going to buy. I even had to write that on my board recently. Ramblers do not buy. Do not let them ramble. Control the conversation. And you do that by asking questions. The person asking the questions is going to control the conversation. So it's not even about you talking. It's not about how much can you say. It's about dominating the conversation and leading it, steering the conversation. If they start rapping and talking about something off field or left or something completely random, about what their cousin's uncle did last week or their cousins got in great shape and this and that, if it's not to do with the solution that you're selling or the problem that you're trying to solve, then cut that straight away. It's not even rude. If you cut someone and ask them something about themselves, it's not rude, it's almost polite. You're just invested. So that's going to be critical. But the main thing here is you just want to make sure that you are having all bases covered. So at the start of the call, you're opening the call and you're straight away trying to find out what the problem is. So why are they even on the call? Why are they looking to make a change with their health? And then dig into that. Don't just accept, I just want to get healthy, I want to lose weight. Okay, what about losing weight is important to you? What concerns you about being overweight? Okay, why now? Why do you want to do this now? Why not before? And some people are going to get annoyed. 100% you are going to piss some people off, but it is necessary. Some trainers say, oh, don't do that. But the thing is, it works. Because if you don't do that, all you're going to do is have the most basic level 1 surface conversation, which doesn't mean anything to anyone. And you're going to drop a high price of like 3,500, 4,000, 5,000, 2,000, whatever you're pricing it as, which is more than just a couple $100s, and they're going to be like, no way. What? Because you haven't built the value. That's the thing. I almost see this as a great analogy is a smiley face. So people buy with a smiley face. So picture a smiley face. Obviously I can't draw one for you, but you know what a smiley face looks like. So on the left side, you've got pain. On the right side of the smiley face, you've got goals. And in the middle of the smiley face, you have the price. So obviously a smiley face is like that. And if the price is below the pain and the goals, then that's an objectionless close, because you created such a gap and the price just makes sense. So for example, that example I gave of the military person who might be devastated and lose their job if they don't get in shape, a price of 4,000, 5,000, whatever would be normal, would be minor. Versus if you don't have that conversation and you just leave it as the person wants to lose 20, 30 pounds to feel good and fit in his clothes, and you just accept that as everything, then you drop a price of 3,500 or whatever, 5,000 pound, 5,000, and you're gonna have a unhappy face. Meaning that on the left side, you've got the pain, on the right side, you've got the goals, and then the price is way high in the middle. Meaning that the price just doesn't make sense. And like, they probably wouldn't even pay a couple $100 for you to solve their problem of just fitting into their clothes and just having more confidence. So that's critical. And you have to be willing to have these difficult conversations. You can't bottle it, don't be a pussy, I've said this before. And it's gonna make all the difference, just staying in the fire. And a way you can get away with it is your tonality. Again, a lot of trainers try and say, oh, tonality is a scam. Tonality is everything. Imagine something simple as asking someone to excuse you, or if you want to get past someone. Imagine how many ways you can say that. Oh, excuse me, please, bro. Or, sorry, bro. Or, move. Or, no. I'm saying the same words here. So, yeah. So even excuse me, like, it could be like, excuse me, which means like, get out of the way, you prick. Or, excuse me. Or even like an offense, excuse me. There's just so many ways to say the same word. A lot of times people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's the same thing. So that's why, again, you have to have your energy high. You have to be in good mental spirits when you're having your calls, because you'll be able to have the right tonality, the right energy. And people will detect that, especially over a space of an hour conversation. People will be able to detect your energy. So if you sounding like you don't really care and you try and dig in, you're gonna get friction. But if you actually sound genuinely curious, oh, why is that? Okay, so you wanna do that because of this, and that happened. So that's gonna make a huge difference in tonality. Also, being an expert. I find when I am on it and I'm motivated and energized, which I should be all the time, and I am 99% of the time, but I'm not a robot, I'm not 100% perfect. When I'm really on fire, I'm almost coaching them through the call. Now, I know people say you shouldn't be coaching them, and I'm not necessarily coaching them, but I'm just got my coaching hat on to help solve their problem. So, for example, someone says, I have issues with cravings. I can't deal with cravings. You can listen to that and be like, okay, on to the next. Or you can even give them an idea of what's missing. Oh, okay, so you're having cravings because you have a potential hormonal imbalance, which is causing you to crave these things. Imagine if we could create a diet that would eliminate these cravings in the first place. Would that be beneficial? Boom, just a couple lines interjected. You're not gonna see that in a script, but that's getting someone thinking, this guy sounds like a bit of an expert. He must be able to solve our problem, considering he seems to know a lot about this. And that's the thing, you want to be smart. Read about your subject matter, really absorb fitness. How many fitness books have you read? How much content are you consuming? Do you know more than the other person? Because we're in an age where this information is plentiful. Plenty information. People can Google, ChatGPT, Instagram this, Google that. But even though people think they know everything, most of the world is still out of shape and overweight, or whatever it is. So you have to take that into consideration and make sure that you are 2-5 steps ahead of everyone else, so you can come across as the leader and you can really be that authority in their mind, that trusted advisor, meaning they're more likely to trust you and more likely to take your advice and recommendation of, okay, we're going to take you from A to B, it's going to cost however much, this is it. And if you build that trust, they're going to trust you. So that's critical. And as I said, with the whole aim of objectionless close, I've got to the point where now I'm not really, before I would be fighting with these people on the phone, warring, leaving the phone angry, they're putting the phone down, and it's not good emotionally to be going through that stress every day. I don't like it. So for me, that's why the objectionless close is so important. You want to get to that point where it's just like, for both of you, it makes sense. Like for both of you, they know they need to do this, they need to do this now, you've established the cost of an action. What happens if they don't do this? If they don't do this, then it's not going to be good. I had a conversation with a woman earlier, straight up, she said if she doesn't do this now, she's going to have her leg amputated. Like, that's the level you want to get to, regardless of if they move forward or not. Then you can really establish that this is probably to do with money. That's the only thing that should be getting in the way here, is if they logistically can't do it. And if they can't, then that's what it is where it is. But you need to get people to the point where they need to put in a credit card or whatever. And again, I can always improve on this, but that's the level that you need to get to, where someone sees no other option. And that's important as well. You need to kill all the other options, because there are a ton of other options, especially with fitness. People, number one, think that they can do it by themselves. Oh, why can't I do it myself? Why can't I just eat healthy and exercise? Everyone knows, but everyone struggles because someone might have the best intentions for 2 weeks, but then something happens, they catch a cold, or work gets busy, or they wake up late one day, or anything could happen which just throws them off, and all of a sudden they skip the gym for 1-2 weeks. They haven't done any exercise, they've had a takeaway, they've had a wedding or a party, and it's completely thrown them off, and a year passes down the line and they're in exactly the same position as they were before. That happens so many times, and that's the thing, you have to be able to kill that on the call. So you can ask them, what have they been doing so far to solve the problem? What they're doing now, what have they tried in the past, and get them to admit that that hasn't been working. And I got this recently. Well, it's a common saying, but I heard someone reiterate this recently. The definition of insanity is what? It's doing the same things and expecting different results. And that's what a lot of these people here are doing. So you need to really shoot down any supplements, shoot down online programs. Nothing apart from your solution can work, which is why they're going to pay you the money that you're requesting. So, quite a few parts to that. I know this video is probably a bit all over the place, but these are the elements needed for a quote-unquote objection that's closed. You need to have them all there. You're a detective. It's almost like you're like a lawyer. You're putting the case together emotionally, logically, why someone should buy and why they should buy now. So emotionally, what's at stake if they don't make a change? Logically, just making financial sense and making sense in terms of the timing and what you offer in terms of the program. And they should just have a feeling in their gut. It's like yourself. Just think about your emotions, and the next time you're in a sales situation where you're on the other end. A lot of times it's just gut instinct. It's your second brain in your gut that's going to dictate whether you make a decision or not. How are you feeling in the moment? How has that person led you through that call? So you just want to get to that person to the stage where it just makes sense in their guts. Obviously, other factors will make sense. How much money do they have? How much experience do they have? Sometimes you'll find people who have purchased, the first time they're looking at a high ticket solution, they may have cold feet because they just weren't accustomed to spending more than $50 on their fitness or any money. And now you're offering something for like 2, 3K, 4K. Whereas you've got people that have been around the block. They've done coaching programs before. They've tried different diets, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. At the same time, they may feel a bit low on confidence. Oh, they've tried all these things, they've worked for everyone else, hasn't worked for me. I spent all this money, I don't want to spend money again. It's all pros and cons. But at the same time, because they spent money, they value their fitness and their health. Maybe they've seen some success, which means they're more open to hearing your high ticket option. So, quite a few pieces in play here. I could have talked for quite a lot. Maybe I'll do more videos. But essentially, once you can create an airtight argument, logically, emotionally, get them in the right place, you're in the right energy, you've presented hard, you've presented all the components and customized the pillars of what you offer to what they're telling you, that can generate excitement in the call. So for example, my offer now, I have 4 components. One is diagnostics, so diagnosing the problem based on their body's chemistry, their unique situation with their health. Number 2 is nutrition. Number 3 is exercise. And number 4 is accountability. And each component I'll present around what they've told me in the call. So if they told me, for example, they need to be gluten-free, they're very picky, they have sugar cravings, I might pitch something like, we're going to base this around your favorite foods. We're going to make sure we're getting that perfect combination of the right foods, the right time, the right amounts, the right combinations to be able to, number 1, deal with these cravings and get rid of the cravings altogether, and to also lose weight and give you more energy, for example. So things like that, and just build up that energy through the presentation, where they don't get to the point where this can't fail. This has to succeed. And that's the level you get to. And when they're just like, at the end, like, this has got to work, and they have the money, that's where you'll have your objectionless close. All right, thanks for watching. If you're a PT in a gym, download my free PT Business Success Guide. It's a book and a course for free. Check that out. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment in terms of what you'd like to see next, and I'll catch you on the next one.